What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are in the oddly painted garage. It's still oddly painted. It's okay, just haven't gotten to it yet. But today we are working on the S4. Got a really cool mod that's going in today, all the way from Germany. I did get them off of eBay Motors because Europrice no longer sells them. And I don't think anybody has installed these yet, like a DIY type in video. Let me pop the trunk and show you what we're putting in. Look at that. We got some OEM Blackline taillights. I am so excited to install these. These, I think, will look really, really good on this car. Especially since I have everything else blacked out now. You know, the trim, the grille, carbon fiber, wheels, everything. I think these are the move. They're awesome. Plus, if you don't know, these actually have a sweeping amber turn signal that does not activate the brake light like we have here in America. When you activate your turn on the factory lights, you get the sweeping motion, but the brake light also blinks at the same time. I think it has something to do with the DOT and regulations and everything like that. My car is, come to find out, technically a 2017 build, not a 2018. The car is a 2018, it was sold in 2018, but it was built in 2017, which means inside these little housings here, I have fog lights. I have both side fogs. Unfortunately, these inside here, this is the passenger side, this is the driver's side. The driver's side, which should be the proper side to have a fog light on, it's not in here. So Alexander from Europrice, we went ahead and ordered another one of these inner tail lights with the fog, so I'll have the dual fog option like I have now. Plus, I'm kind of anal about that. I don't want just the passenger side because obviously it's not the right side. My car is not right-hand drive, and that's how everything works in Europe. So along with the taillights, this is not a straight plug-and-play install. This is going to require some wiring. This is going to require some coding, VCP, a new cable. You can't use VCDS. I will kind of show you how to do that stuff. Alexander does include very clear instructions on how to download everything, what to change in the system, and he also includes all the wiring and connectors that you need to switch everything over. You'll need some basic tools to actually get the taillights out. That shouldn't be a big deal. But to do the wiring, you'll need a pin extractor. And there's going to be a wire that's going to run from one side to the other. So there's going to be some minor disassembly in here. Taking this off, I'm hoping I can get through the BCM in here. It is in there, but it's looking kind of tight, so I might have to move my air ride stuff out of the way and pull off the side panel, but I'm going to really try to avoid that because getting that out of the way is going to suck. Just going to be honest, it's going to be terrible. So to get from this side to this side, you might need a little bit of extra wiring. I'll have to see how much Alexander included. If you do, you just need some basic automotive wiring. Make sure you solder it, heat, shrink, wrap it up, make sure it doesn't get any water in it, that kind of stuff. But that will enable everything to work properly from side to side. And then as far as the inner taillights go up here, it's just a matter of swapping them out and then repinning the harnesses that he sends you. Again, I'll show you guys that when we get there. Now, if you're not comfortable with wiring, coding, anything like that, definitely do not try this. You could really screw something up in the system, so you don't want that. That'll be a very expensive repair bill. I'm gonna go grab the wiring and then we'll get started taking the old taillights out. I'll be back. Here is what he sends you. You can see the new connectors in there. Some of them are pinned already. You've got some heat shrink. If you want to solder it, do it that way. I'm probably just going to use the quick connector that I have that has heat shrink and solder built into it. But this is it. 4 connectors, 2 for the outer, 2 for the inner, some wiring, some heat shrink, stuff like that. But we'll get to this in a little bit. Right now, we're going to go ahead and disassemble the taillights. Alright, first we are going to go ahead and remove the inners. These covers here, they just kind of clip in place. I use the plastic trim tool to slide up in here and pop out. They just, again, just clip in. Make sure you're careful though, don't break anything. And you also have to open up this panel here. Same thing. I slid this in here, popped it out. That exposes the wiring and a couple of the nuts. And as you can see, got the other side done already. Alright, we've got the first inner side out. It's just held in with these 3 10mm nuts. Of course, this is 10mm. Do you know where your 10mm socket is? So, this is what it looks like when it's empty. I'm going to go ahead and clean it here, of course, because it's disgusting. There's like pollen and dirt and all kinds of good stuff in there. So, we are going to clean that out. And then the fun part ensues. This connector is not the same for the Euro taillights. This is the new connector. different color, slightly different shape. I mean, very, very slightly different shape. But basically, this is why you need a depinning tool, because this has to be swapped onto this. So you're going to depin all 6 wires. Alexander does include instructions on which wires go in which slot on the new one. And then plug it back in, bolt it back up, and you're done with the inner tail light. Same thing with that side, obviously. Unbolt, do the wiring, bolt it back in, good to go. The only depinning and pinning you have to do is for the outers. And the BCM inside the driver's side fender well in there. Alright, I'm going to pop the other one out. I'll be back. Alright guys, so I got this connector depinned already. Basically what you want to do is open up these 2 little flaps on the sides. At the bottom, you'll see where the wire actually goes in, and then there's a hole next to it. So basically what you want to do, this is only a one-sided connector. Some of them have 2 sides where you have to put a prong on either side. So for this, I'm just using this this flat depin tool. It's one-sided. So you basically would stick it in the top hole, pull the wire about halfway out, and then in here you actually see where it gets caught inside this slot here. So then you just press down here, pull the wire out the rest of the way, do that 5 more times, and then you're done. I gotta look up the instructions from Alexander on which wires go into the new connector, where they go, what positions, and I will show you that here in a second. Alright, I made quick work of that. As you can see, the new connector's on, everything is pinned. Here is, I don't know if you can see it on my phone. Alright, there we go. So you can see here, left inner, right inner, where to plug which wires into which position. And the way that you tell that, and I apologize if you cannot see this, on the center plug in each corner, there's actually a number. It's 4, 6, 1, and 3. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as you go up. So like the brown wire here, all brown, plugged into position 1, which is there in the top right corner. And then so on and so forth. Black, gray, blue, gray, etc., etc. Plug them in. When you plug these wires into the new connector, you actually hear it click. If it clicks, it's good. Once all the wires are in, you'll go ahead and close these outer 2, and then that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this taillight in. As you can see, I already went ahead and cleaned inside there. So we're good to go. I'll be back. Alright, so like I said, same thing as the other side. The new connector is wired. Follow the instructions sent by Alexander. Plug them in, push this closed, put the taillight in, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. Alright guys, inner taillights are in. Everything is put back on, trim. This is connected. Wires are connected. And that's what it looks like so far. Honestly, I think this is going to look amazing. You guys, I don't know, let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If this is something you think you would do yourself. Obviously not this. This looks terrible. But once it's all done, let me know if this is something you would do yourself. I'm a sucker for some OEM German optional parts. I did get these. I can't remember if I told you guys, but I got the tails off of eBay. I used to be able to get them from Europrice, but he was saying due to delays and stuff, he doesn't really sell them anymore. So I did get these off eBay. They are OEM. They came from this Tuning Fanatics. Came from Germany. Did take a little bit of time for it to get here though. They got stuck in customs for like 2 weeks. So that was pretty annoying. But it's all good because I did have army stuff to do. As you can tell, no beard, fresh haircut. But yeah, so if it's something you want to do, hit me up. I can send you a link or what to look for on eBay. You just want to make sure that they're OEM. You do kind of want to make sure that if you have fogs, they have fogs. I mean, you don't need to run them if you don't want to, but since I have the fog option, I wanted to run them. Alright, I'm going to get to taking off the outer taillights, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Okay, just as a little FYI for you guys, if you've never taken the tails off, you simply slide a screwdriver into here, slide up, and then what I did was I used a plastic trim remover tool, and that's it. It comes right out. That's going to expose these 2 Torx. I believe that's all this is held in by, but I will get back to you. Alright, outer taillights are out. It was just those 2 Torx. They're T25. And then it's held in with this little rubber grommet right here. You just have to pull it out a little bit with some force. Here is the other connector that we are going to replace, which is right here. The yellow wire is already in slot 4. It comes like that. That's where it should be. And as you can see here, there's only 4 wires in that one. 5 wires in that one. So that's why we're replacing it. I'm going to wrap this up for the night though. I've got the garage open and the mosquitoes are starting to come out. So with that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, day 2, we're back. We're gonna go ahead and wire the outer tail lights. I'm actually gonna show you how to do the deep pinning. I realized I didn't do that yesterday because the inner trunk's kind of hard to get the camera angle there, but this I should be able to set up and show you how to actually deep pin this plug. This one's a little different because it has 2, but same type of process. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up, get my tools, and we'll get started. All right, so first thing you're gonna wanna do is there's a little purple locking tab in here. You can kind of see it. You just wanna go ahead and put a pick or a screwdriver in there and go ahead and pull that out. That's what it looks like. Also, I apologize in advance if you can hear whatever Florida bug that is. Probably a cicada or something, but it is quite loud in the background. All right, now for this next part, usually there would be a dual-sided tool you can use here, but this actually won't fit in there, so I'm going to use 2 singles. And you just put one in, put the other one in, you press upward, and then you pull out the wire. Put them in on each side, push in, grab the wire, and pull out. Push in, wire, pull out. Like that. So this connector is now depinned. This is the new connector. The yellow wire is already in slot 4. The numbers are up top there. I'll go ahead and pull up Alex's instructions. So, left outer plug, position 1 is going to be brown. I don't know if you heard that, but it does snap into place just like the other ones. Black and blue is number 2. Green and black is number 3. And finally, purple and green is number 5. So these will only go in a certain way. And of course this one does not want to go right in. There we go. So they're all in. You're going to go ahead and take that purple connector, push that back in until it locks. So that's back in. This one's wired up. One other thing I just did was I swapped over this purple locker here. That wasn't too bad. In here, it just sits. You just have to push up with a pick tool and then out, and it'll come out of the one that you've already removed, and then you just slide it back into the new one. That way, when you plug this in, you can lock it in place into the taillight. Alright, now we're on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and remove this lock now. As you can see, or maybe saw, that comes right out. Then you just want to put the pick in and pull out the other purple piece there. And now we are going to depin this harness. So, same process. Put that in there. Pull the wire out. I'm going to do this 3 more times. Don't want to bore you with it. Alright, so that is done. We've got the other new connector. This is in slot 4. Make sure that is in the correct slot. Now we're just going to go ahead and put the wires into this connector. Brown into 1. Blue-gray into 2. It does say on here green and black into 3, but I have a blue and black. So I'm going to assume that is correct. And then the final one, which is purple and gray, into 5. Those are all in. Put the purple guy back in there. Lock it into place. And put that back in. This one's done. Alright, so next, you're going to remove the inner lower trunk trim. This is where we have to get to the BCM2 module. There's 2 plugs that need to be removed, and these wires in here will hook up to the ones we just installed on these plugs, go to the BCM and plug in. After that, it's all programming. So I'm going to go ahead and get this lower trim off and see if I can access the BCM module without having to move my air ride and do all that craziness. So I'll be back. Alright, so for those of you with a sedan, this is the BCM module. It's down here. It's usually face down. There's a 10 mil and 2 plastic clips to hold it in place. Down here, those are all the connectors we need to get to, so it looks like I'm going to be able to do this without having to remove this actual whole side panel. Fingers crossed. One other obstacle I just thought of is I have to extend this wire. Not a big deal, but I need to get it inside the car. I just realized since this side of the car is sealed and the taillights are sealed, this just plugs into the back of the taillight. There should be a grommet I'm going to look for underneath to actually run this wire through the car and then over to here. Passenger side, I'm going to have to do the same, but they say to remove this panel so that you can run the wires down and through and over to this side to the BCM. Also, Alex's instructions are quite clear. He includes everything on taillight removal, BCM removal, how to get these clips out, literally everything. So pay attention. This clip in the front, everything has to be level, and then you push it forward and then kind of pull it out. The other 2 came right out, especially the 10 mil. That was easy. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and look for a grommet, where to run this wire, and I will be back. Alright guys, took a little bit of a lunch break, had to run to O'Reilly's to get some automotive wiring, and these are the connectors that I'm going to be using here. They are heat shrink Duraseal butt splices. 18 to 22 gauge. I believe that this wiring is about a 20, it's hard to tell. And then all O'Reilly's had was an 18, so it's going to be slightly stepped up in between the 2 connections, but that should be fine. I have yet to find the grommet that I'm going to use to get the wiring to the inside of the car. I'm going to get under there now and see what I can find. Alright guys, so I went ahead and actually ran the yellow wire through, let me grab my light, through the vent where I ran the air line. That was a lot easier than trying to find the grommet. I think to get to the grommet I'd probably possibly have to pull the bumper off or jack the car up. So it's much easier doing it this way. Just went ahead and applied some tape, and this side should be ready to bolt back in. Now this wire is going to go to one of the plugs on the BCM. Just have to wire in the other side with the connection and then figure out which plug that is. When I get to that, I'll let you know. Alright guys, both outer taillights are in. Everything is hooked up. On the passenger side, I went ahead and did the same thing as the driver's side. Ran it through the vents over there. I have it coming out here. Now I just need to run over through this panel, out here with the other one, hook up to the BCM, and then do the programming. That should be it. Fingers crossed, everything works once the programming is hooked up. But so far, this has not been that bad, and they look awesome. One thing I'm a little sad about is I took these reflectors off because I bought dark smoke tint for them. This one came out fine. This one, however, was probably broken by the body shop, and yeah, that happened. And the screw that usually goes there, well, the holder was broken. So I'm gonna try to glue this back together. I don't see why I won't be able to. I'm gonna have to glue back in that part where the screw goes, but I'm gonna try to run this for now because I do have a car show this weekend to go to, and well, without them it looks terrible. The tint's supposed to be here today. Hopefully I can glue this back together, get them tinted, and put back in. I'll probably try to order another one of these. This one seems okay. I might just order 2 new ones because they seem like they're cheap enough. So that's where I'm at right now. Alright, I'm going to get this wire ran and get ready to hook up into the BCM. Alright guys, I got the wire ran over, got the ends hooked up on both the right and the left side. The brown plug here is going to be used for the left side, driver's side taillight. Similar to the small plugs, this purple lock needs to slide out. It only goes one way, so it's going to slide out this way. And now we're going to go ahead and insert that wire, the driver's side wire, into position number 2 of this plug. These are labeled as well, and just in case, if you can see that, Alex does include a diagram of where the numbers are. So number 2 is going to be up at the top here, that one open slot that's all the way to the left. Well, second from the left. That's where that's going to go. Alright, so as you can see, made short work of that. That's the second one there. Slid the purple lock back over. This one is good to go. Next one is going to be the black plug, which, let's see if I can do this. It's going to be the one down there, right there, the small one. It's going to look just like the brown one. It's just on the right side, brown's on the left. So we're going to go ahead and get that one undone, and I'll show you which wire to hook into there. So again, like the previous one, slide this purple lock over. This one's going to go into position 1, which is up there in the top left. It's also shown on the diagram that Alex provides you. Let's go ahead and get that hooked in. That's in position 1. The lock is closed. Go ahead and plug this back into the BCM. Alright, that's done. BCM is hooked back in. Wires are hooked back into place. You can see the new wiring in there. 10 mil goes there, and then they just clip in there and down there. So that's in. Alright, so per the instructions, outer's done, inner's done. And before proceeding, check for basic functionality on all 4 taillights. Some of the functions may have changed, it says, but before you do any VCP programming, it says to go ahead and check functionality. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, I went ahead and checked everything. Daytime lights work, or running lights, whatever you want to call them. The inner turn signal worked, the outer did not, which kind of makes sense because we had to add those wires. So I believe once programming is done, we'll get the full amber sweep. When I hit the turn signals, the brake light did still light up. Again, that's a functionality thing that is normal, but will be programmed out. And yeah, that is it for now. Man, these are cool. These look really good. Oh, and I'll show you the new wheels for the daily. They just showed up today. 1552 chicanes, 19 by 8.5 with a 215/35. So we're going 19s on the wagon. There she is. Borrowing a friend's wheel setup right now. So these should be on. I had to order hub rings, so they'll be here tomorrow. These should go on tomorrow. Hopefully the height is good and they fit. Fingers crossed. Alright, I'm gonna go grab my laptop and instructions on how to program this, and we'll get started. Alright guys, so I went ahead and followed all instructions to download the new parameters to the BCM. My only tip for that is follow line by line, instruction by instruction, to make sure you're doing it correctly, because there's an activator and then there's the program itself. This is what the program looks like. Similar to like VCDS, just slightly different because you can upload parameter files into the BCM. Again, it's already done. I didn't want to show you that on camera. I wasn't sure how clear it would come through on the computer anyways. But again, follow it line by line and you'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and set you guys up in the back there, and we'll see if this all works. Okay, set up. Let's go check it out. So far so good with all the running lights. Okay, brake lights look good. And the turns. So as you can see with the normal lights, the outer brake light would actually light up. That is not the case with this one. So we just have the sweeping turns, the brake lights, and reverse should work. I'll see if I can get that going. Alright, so reverse lights, I'm pretty sure I have to start the car to actually try those, and I don't really want to do that right now, so I'll check it tomorrow when I go to my weekly meet. I am getting an error for this fog light because, again, it's not here. Waiting on Alex to see if he can get me one. And that rear fog, again, it's just because the set that I ordered on eBay only came with the passenger side. So I've got the driver's side hopefully showing up soon. We can get that plugged in. That'll just be plug and play. and then the fogs will work again. And here, as you can see, there are not any error lights or anything like that. Now I do get one when I turn on my rear fog, right there, because of course the left one is not plugged in. But the taillights work, headlights work, everything seems to be just fine. That should be that. All right guys, well, there you have it. Blackline Euro tails are installed. Not that bad. It took me maybe 4 hours total, probably. Something like that. I didn't time it, but I am familiar with deep hitting harnesses. I've ran Euro taillights on my Mark V before, and also my Mark VI wagon. So I knew what I was getting into with these. So I did just partner with another company today. They shipped that apart to me. It's gonna be coming from Racing Line, so I'm really excited to show you guys that. That will probably be here, I would imagine, in a few weeks, just because it is coming from across the pond. If this is something you guys are thinking about doing, you know, feel free to ask me any questions. If you're in Florida or close to Florida, you wanna come over to the East Coast, feel free. Maybe buy me dinner, call me nice names, you know, I'll help you do the install. You are gonna need to buy the taillights themselves and then the install kit from Europrice, because I imagine VADCAM Pro is not transferable. I'm gonna end this video here. My little brother's in town. I think I'm gonna take him to go see Wakanda tonight. If you guys haven't seen it, which I have seen it already, but he hasn't. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it. It's excellent. If you like Marvel, if you like Black Panther, 100% recommend you go see it. Before I let you go, we'll get one more look at the taillights. All right, I've taken enough of your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you then.